Păi ne pregătim. Întrebam dacă e ok engleză pentru tine, că o să am și oameni care nu sunt. Mulțumim spațiului că ne primește, e foarte drăguț, ne primește spațiul ăsta pe noi. Întrebam dacă e ok engleză pentru tine, că o să am... Așa. Și cerem ca numai ființele din lumina cea mai pură și care acționează pentru binele nostru cel mai înalt să poată fi prezente energetic și telepatic alături de noi acum. We ask that only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us now. Only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us now. We ask that we communicate divine self to divine self. We commune divine self to divine self, and we are compatible, divine self to divine self, in this workshop. We send a ray of light to everybody participating, everybody watching afterwards, everybody watching the recording. Everything is in divine time, and everything is now. And so we start the workshop of activating the light body. So there was a debate about this date. Some people asked me to move it some other day and so on and so forth. And I was clear that today is the day that we are to meet. There was also a big debate about the place and many other debates regarding this workshop. It was kind of wobbly. But for me, it was kind of clear from the start, from when we met in the weekend, that we are to meet here. I was just waiting for everything to fall into place. It seems that the city we're in is opening more and more. Maybe you've noticed that so many are coming here and so many are opening up to things that they weren't open before. And that's the result of the work that so many have done in this area for such a long time. And we're now starting to see the results. And sometimes it's still a bit wobbly, and some of you still feel like you've been tired for 1,000 years or something. At least sometimes I do. But I feel it's starting to show that it's worth it, and that we did a great job together, all of us who put a shoulder to this work. We are seeing the local community growing bigger and smarter. I mean, wiser. And we are seeing that the grids around the city and around this area, including Bushten and all the way to Kovasna and so on, are opening up more and more, and the light grids are stronger now. And we are watching the city for a long time. We've been coming here for the past 9 years for the energy points around Brasov. I was traveling all the way from Yash, coming to work with the Sphinx and the Omu Peak and everything around it. I constantly travel all the time to the power places of Romania and outside Romania to participate in activating certain things. That's been my work for many years, and that's my constant job, apart from the other things that I do. That's that's the thing that I do daily. That's my daily thing, my daily practice. And I was coming here, and every time I got into the bus from Yash, when I was coming in this area, the place seemed very, very cluttered. And when I entered, I almost all the time lost my way, couldn't get to Predal, couldn't find the way out. It was always circling around. It was like it was a vortex that was catching me, sweeping me in, and always weird. And I find it more and more relatable now, more and more easy to navigate. I used to come here once a week when I moved 3 years ago in the area. I used to come once a week, regardless of if I had something to do or I didn't have anything to do. I just came and sat, in the central square here or anywhere, and I was just sitting and, letting life flow. Now I come 3 times per week. It seems it's getting more. Sometimes I have to stay overnight. I try to leave the next day. Then another thing happens. I stay longer. So it's becoming more and more intense that we are here. I almost moved half in Brasov, half in my living place. That shows that things are for the best. And that's why here today we are having the workshop live. Even though there are people online, we still come live so that we work more with this area. And I'm very happy that you agreed to participate to this. That's really, really great help. I always start a workshop like this with a message from the universe. The T messages that we're having. This box is magically woven so that everyone gets the right message for him or her. So pass it around and see what's up, what is new for you. And you can read them out loud. For the people watching on Facebook and Insta, we're online for half an hour, and you can participate to this full workshop if you go on the link that I placed in the description, or if you go in bio and you can access the whole thing or the recording, so that we are all together. We've chosen this moment because we'll have an workshop every Tuesday or Wednesday on this topic of activating the body of light, but also chosen this moment for the full moon that is happening today. So today many things are coming in. There's this conjunction of Venus and Mars, and the full moon in Leo and Sagittarius has something to say. And I don't know much astrology, or I don't focus on it now, but it seems to be a great moment to balance the masculine and feminine energies within us and around us, with all the ones that we know. And this is what we're going to focus this energy of tonight. We can also set personal and global intentions. So if everyone here participating has a specific intention that wants to co-create, either personal or global or both, we can bring those in. And you can also tell them out loud, or the ones watching online, you can write them in the comments. The written and speaking is more powerful because it manifests more intensely through the power of word, as opposed to just thinking of it or feeling of it. When you speak it out, it's more powerful. And at the end, we also have a powerful exercise, or somewhere within the workshop. It might be at the end or somewhere in between. We will have an exercise where we tune in deeper to our soul, to our divine self. We connect to the central sun. We connect to the sun in the center of the planet. We align the 3 suns to the sun of our heart. And we clear our chakras and channels so that we can embody more light, as the title of the workshop says. And we are intending to do this every week if everything falls into place. so that we amplify and build up this energy more and more. The more we participate to it, the more we integrate the new light codes that are coming in. Because we as a planet are getting richer and richer now. We are one of the richest planets in the galaxy, or galaxies right now, because of the way things are, because of what's happening now on Earth, because of the global experience that we're having. We are becoming so rich in virtues and emotions. You know, the beings of light or the beings from advanced civilizations aren't having access to such experiences right now because they've evolved past this level of consciousness, so they can no longer experience emotions the way we do, or the upheavals that we experience. They don't longer go into that type of thing. And you might say, I want to live there, you know, because sometimes I say that too, you know, I want to live there, you know, it's true emotions, I'm tired of them. But on the other hand, you get so rich from experiencing this, and this richness is going galactic. It's streaming all the way through the waves into the galaxy so that others can benefit. There are still civilizations who are to learn unconditional love or courage or unconditional faith. They don't have that yet, even though they are advanced. They don't. Not all of them are having that type of insight fully integrated. So they're learning now here from us what it means to have unconditional love, unconditional faith. And I would say these two are the power words of this evening and of this whole experience that we're having now on Earth. This is what we're here to develop in terms of upgrading ourselves and our bodies of light. We are upgrading ourselves and our bodies of light through this unconditional love and through this unconditional faith. These are the keys to unlock the doors to more light, to higher consciousness, and to more power, but it's not our power, it's divine, you know, encompassing the divine more and more. And the whole thing that people are getting ill about, which refers to the crown, right? Even the name of it refers to the crown. It's about opening the crown more and more, and opening to more faith, to more trust, but the trust in the universe, the trust in the divine, the trust in everything is as it should be and is in divine order. I don't know if the ones who are here, you know, online or live, are feeling that all the time, or if you ever had that feeling that everything is as it should be, everything is in divine order. I have been tested even recently on this, even though I have a faith that is sometimes blind. Like I've had experiences that are beyond comprehensions in the way I do things in my life, and I can tell you a bit about it. And I've written a book about it. It's called Believe in Miracles, because every day my life is forced to be miraculous. But sometimes even at the personal human level, I've been tested recently on this, because there was a new wave of distrust, a new wave of fear-based emotions coming on the planet, and I had to run those through me to find a way out of there, basically, to find the key out, or the door out of there. And it's what I did recently, you know, like an internal process. I went for 9 days in silence in a secluded area with no people. I had an empty village for myself. I felt so blessed. and no cell phone and almost no Wi-Fi. And in that space for 9 days, I've been processing these things that have come on the planet for the next wave. And I've seen how they play in the emotional system, how they play in the body, the physical body, which areas are most affected. And then I came back home, and I've also experienced the flu to see how it goes in the system now and what are the remedies for now. Because back in 2020, when it started, it was different, and now it's different. It's the next level of, basically, it's the next level of faith that we have to develop to go through it. It's different than it was before. I had the first round, I have the intermediary rounds, and this final round, I feel it's final. I hope my feeling is accurate, because I feel there's a next level of joy coming in after this, right? That is starting to weave through already. But this final wave has been most challenging in terms of faith and unconditional trust. It's easy to trust when you have some breadcrumbs that are showing you that that's gonna be okay. When you have something to cling on, or when you have something to rely, or some safety net. But now we are requested to trust with no safety net. Like jump, whatever it is in your life, maybe this is a message for someone, I don't know. Whatever it is in your life that you have to jump on, that you wouldn't have jumped, that you were still looking for safety or reassurance, now it's time to jump, because now it's the time to jump. And it's about unconditional, foolish faith, you would say. But it's not foolish, because on a deeper level, that this is divinely orchestrated. And when we do these steps to let go of everything that was holding us back, or everything that we were trying to play safe, or whatever it was that we were trying to play with, so that we still stay in a comfort, whatever zone that was, when we do that, that's when the body of light is getting upgraded, is getting amplified. So apart from the daily practice, apart from, of course, detoxing, which we always speak about, that we need to have a pure body to be able to embody more light. From my perspective, regardless of what most say, but from my perspective, without a clean diet, without giving up animal flesh and animal products, you can't experience elevated emotions. It's just going to pull you back in the type of emotions that the animals are experiencing, because like attracts like, and that's the law of resonance. It's genuine law of resonance that's playing in. When people are ingesting certain things, that's an information that's going in the tissues, and then at the physical and emotional level, you're starting to literally experience that. And it's pure resonance, law of attraction, whatever you want to call it. You cannot bypass that, unless you are a really extraordinary alchemist, and I don't know many, really, so don't fool yourselves. Unless you're a really good alchemist and a really good a person that transmutes the energy in a fantastic way, you can bless it, you can pray for it, you can whatever, but as long as you still eat it, you're gonna be it. So the physical body is the first level where purification and detox must start, so that we can embody more light. It's just, in every yogi, in every ancient tradition before the beginning of time, were telling us about that. nobody would teach you yoga, 5,000 years ago. No sadhu or guru would teach you the ways of channeling powerful energies through your body unless you purified your body. It was no go. You weren't even entering the door of such a sadhu, because they have very clear scientific rules of how the energy circulates through the nadis, through the energy channels of the body, and through the chakras, which is resulting in a certain type of igniting the circuitry so that we can move that energy and manifest through it with it differently. But the circuitry must be clean so that it can move all this energy through it. And the first step is fuel, what you fuel your body with. So that would be the first step in activating your light body to purify it, to detox it, really, and at a deeper level. And the first steps, of course, no meat, no animal products, no coffee, no junk food, no drugs. I always talk about it. And I always say to people, don't fool yourself, even though plant-based medicine might take you quicker through certain states, at the end of the day, when you sum it up, there's purifications that you need to do that might result in lifetimes of work due to the doors that the plant-based is opening, that you not always can see. You cannot always see that, and that's not something that's coming from me. I have always had this intuition, but it has been also confirmed by several specialists and by advanced civilizations that are living and have lived on Earth, and they know the history of plants, and they know the history of healing medicine, and they know the history of how it's been used before and how it's been altered along the process, and now it's different, now it's no longer as good as it was. And that's not known to humanity, and so many are using now so many types of plants, or smoking stuff and doing stuff that is altering consciousness, but not necessarily in a good way on long term. And the shortcuts that you are choosing that might take you higher might result in a slower evolution on long term eventually. And that's not being said in any plant-based retreat, because either people don't know it or they don't trust it. And the reason that I'm saying it is because so many people, especially young people now, are choosing shortcuts instead of really wanting to go the deeper, safer way, that would result in activating the right pathways. And on that, I would continue on saying that I've had teachers and long-term practitioners in energy work, like, for example, Mantak Chia, who has just had a workshop this morning on the hormonal system. Mantak Chia, this guy, has been teaching Qigong for more than 40 years along the planet, 40 years. He's in his 80s now, and for more than 40, 50 years, he has been teaching workshop after workshop after workshops. He has more than 7,000 trained teachers all across the globe, has been named one of the most spiritual, influential people on the planet. So he knows what he's talking about. And when he's talking about plant-based medicine, he's talking about how it's pushing the spirit out of the body in a forced, unnatural way, utilizing the death hormone that normally should be used when dying. So instead of that, you are activating it when taking a tea. And the body does not know that you're not dying, so it pushes you out of the body, and it's using that energy that should be used for the final moments, and then you're coming back into the body with difficulty most of the times, and your life energy of the kidneys and adrenals is being depleted. So you no longer have enough energy for your spiritual practice that should be done daily. So that's what happens to most people. And if repeatedly done so, it results in very little energy for the practice or for the life tasks or for just embodying your light as it should. And that's just, it's an opinion, you might say, but it's being backed up by specialists. And in truth, there are very few that are talking about it, because now it's being so trendy that very few are addressing it, for fear of not being popular, if you say it out loud. Right? So that would be the next level of purification, what you are ingesting, smoking, drinking, apart from your regular food, that, yes, can trigger certain visions or so, but in long term, it might result in a more cluttered system, especially due to certain journeys in certain astral realms that might or might not be friendly. And third level is, what you consume emotionally, which is also a state of nourishment, what you nourish yourself with at the emotional level, how you spend your time in terms of what nourishes you. It's been clear for me that after 12 or 13 years of serious spiritual practice, it's now time to get less serious, because my emotional system, even though spiritually I would evolve, but my emotional system was not so nourished by hours and hours and hours and meditating by myself. There was no longer what I needed. So I needed to go and nourish myself in a different way by doing more art, more dancing, playing with color, playing with songs, playing in general. And that has resulted in accelerating, actually, my light body more than the years of meditation, because finally certain part of my emotional body has opened up to receive a certain part of light that wasn't going, because I was living more as a monk and not so much as a human person for the last 10 years. I mean, I did 8 or 9 Christmases and New Year's Eve and meditations and stuff like that, and fasting, and it was a lot. It was necessary for certain buildup of energy that was necessary back then, but for now, I'm told it is necessary to be with people and play. And that's what activates my light body even more than before. Such a simple thing, that you wouldn't think of if you're at the beginning of a spiritual practice, but it's so efficient, actually. And emotional nourishment can indeed open up new light codes and activate new parts of your light body that weren't active before. And daring to be foolish and to be childish at any cost, even at the cost of losing your credibility, which I don't really care about, because I'm saying such crazy things that my credibility, can be shaken at any time. I don't care. I'm already down the rabbit hole deep, when I say to people that they can be immortal, or that they can live for hundreds of years, or that they can live without eating, or with eating very little food, or that they can see children, in a very high state of consciousness, like through immaculate conception. That's already, the credibility. I've dared that a lot. So now if I play and am childish and foolish, I don't feel that I feel I have nothing to lose. But for more serious people watching, that you might think that you have something to lose, just dare to do it and be playful and childish and foolish, and that can open you up more. And vulnerability, I've noticed, is so powerful. to open up new pathways, because it requires so much to keep your guards up and to keep your walls in place. It requires so much energy to look like a normal person, to look like, to try to convey an image to people, to try to convey certain you that you want to be seen as. So the moment you drop that down and you don't really care how you're seen, because the only important thing is to be seen as the true you, whatever that is for anyone. When you drop that, it's such a powerful surge of energy that goes through you and continues to flow through you, because you're no longer hidden or guarded. And you can let the circulation of energy between you and other people be genuine, be authentic, be real, with the realness of fuck off if you want to say it, or I don't trust you if you want to say it, or I love you but I seen you 2 minutes ago, if you want to say it. That degree of authenticity that might shake the other to the core, because they're not ready for that. They're ready for masks. These days masks are very trendy, even enforced by law, if you will. but in truth, that's the greatest stupidity of all. And it's a great energy consumption. And when you drop it down, it's really freeing and energizing at the same time. I have the most energy when I'm completely authentic and unguarded. And that's how I am most of the time. And that has been so nourishing and so activating for me. Authenticity, as much as I could experience it so far, there might be corners of me that are still hidden, and that's, by default, by the trauma that I might have experienced as a human being or whatever. But the most part of it is now in the open, and it's so free. So at the emotional level, those would be the things that I feel to talk about, that are activating us more deeper. It is the power of that authenticity, the power of play and childish and being yourself, whatever yourself is, and the power, of course, of speaking your truth. I mean, that requires courage and requires to know what your truth is. But if you go deeper and find what your truth is, and then you start to speak it and manifest it, that's very freeing at the emotional level and nourishing, and it's activating new codes in your light body that are coming as your true you, that is coming into the world as true, the truest version, basically, that you came here to be, because you didn't come here to be a role. You have come here to be you and to do you. And you can even get paid for doing you and being you, So yeah. So that's what's happening at the emotional level, and also to detox your old emotions that are holding you down, which can be done in various ways. We have a therapy, I practice a therapy called soul healing, which basically means that you can heal from the core of your soul out into all your layers, where we connect people to their core, their soul, and from there we find the answers, and we find the new energies or light codes that they can access to heal themselves, or the answers for their lives, or the changes that they can access to heal their lives. So that's one way through this therapy. But there's also the massage, there's also clearing the cellular memory, there's also there's also so many methods of detoxing emotionally, and that's very necessary now. It's imperative that we do so, because the emotional blockages that we might all have are the first and most powerful obstacles from embodying more light and from being true and genuine to yourself and to others. There's no going through this without taking the garbage out. And as much as you want to cling into it, you know, telling yourself that it's keeping you safe, that the trauma, if you keep it there, it will prevent you from building more trauma, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself subconsciously, it's time now to let it out and let it go, because that's not safety, that's just prison. And it's the difference between being in safety and being in prison, and we must learn to make that difference. Personally, the more I cleared stuck emotion and trauma, the freer I got in my relations with others and in embodying my light, the light that I came here to be. So I can only recommend going deeper and taking it all out, and the only way out is in. So yeah. And the third or fourth thing would be, you know, to embody more light and to activate your body of light even stronger, is to be aware of how you nourish yourself mentally, what you nourish your mind with. You know, it's so powerful now. I mean, the mind has always been powerful, and many are saying, especially in the Tibetan tradition and so on, it's all about the mind. It's all about the, you know, the whole world. It's a thought emanation. It's the emanation of your thoughts and so on. I would say it's deeper than that. It's also the emanation of emotions and energy field. It's a combination of all that and combined with the power of your heart. But yes, thought is very powerful. And to the people that are having a very strong mental body, that's crucial, that we know how to nourish and then manage our mind system. It's a tool that you can't go without. It's as much as you try to ignore it, it will affect your life, and it does affect your life. And the more you nourish yourself with information based on conspiracy theories and the war between good and bad and us versus them, and whatever you think it's interesting to focus your attention on, that keeps you safe from being fooled from all the people that are trying to enslave you, all that stuff, it's actually building up a defense system or a wall around you that will attract more of the conspiracy theory, more of the damage that is being done to the world, more of what you focus on, basically. So to be free and to let light flow through is to start focusing on what you want to see into the world rather than what you want to prevent happening to the world, which is such a difference in managing your apparatus of manifestation through thinking. It's such a difference. And so many people, you know, since this craziness has started, have bombarded me with information about the, you know, whatever has been, from tests to vaccines to the virus being true or not, whatever, everything everyone has believed and has come to me, and I've been processing it, and I've been telling people, stop sending me all this information. I don't need it. I know what's happening. I've already been informed about it. What I needed to know, I've already received. And from now on, and I mean since 2020, I want to focus on the next step that humanity has to bring, which is the new light codes, the new way of collaboration, the new way of educating our children, the new way of fueling our bodies, the newness in what needs to come. And I need to focus on that to bring it into the world, along with all the others that are coming to, that have come here to bring the newness into the world. And that's my area of focus. I'm not in denial. I'm not in, living in la la land. I'm not unaware of what people are and the children are subjected to. I'm completely in tune with all that, and I've also felt it in my body and everywhere. But I consciously and diligently focusing on the next step, because that's what I nourish my mind with, and that's how I want to use my apparatus of creation. And that's a deliberate choice that I'm making every day, to not turn on the TV, on the news, to not focus on the news that come through me on various media, and give energy to those. That's a daily focus that keeps my light on. Because it's very simple to get caught into a vortex of a certain information that has a certain pattern energy, and fuel that, and then receive more of that, and then receive more on that, and before you know it, that's grown on you, and you have become in a shitty state that it takes days to get out of, because that's what's literally happening to most people, and that's dimming your light. That's not activating your light, that's dimming your light. And you might think that focusing on it is useful, but it's actually not at all. It's just a way of fooling yourself and losing your focus from what you came here to manifest to what others want you to manifest. And to keep you in the old paradigm that nobody else is, nobody is being served by. It's not serving us anymore. So choosing consciously our mental nourishment, what we nourish our mind with, and in my case, and what I recommend, that would be uplifting information, holistically science-based information. I recommend to everyone the website of the Embassy of Peace, the Gaia TV, certain areas of it, and Nassim Haramein, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, all the scientists that are doing the real work in keeping us awake from the scientific perspective. And right now, as we speak, they are meeting in Mexico and having a great gathering, and I already feel how the planetary grid is being uplifted by it. So all that stuff, you can focus your attention on it and nourish your mind from it, and that would literally upgrade your frequency as you watch it, and bring new light codes and new ways of understanding reality and new ways of seeing everything expanded in a multi-dimensional, multi-fractal, quantum way, instead of seeing it dense and limited and blocked and oh my God, what's happening here? All that stuff. No. So if you want to expand your mind, there was a scene in this movie that I like, it's called the Doctor Strange, where where somebody is touching the third eye of this doctor and says, open your eye. And he starts seeing the fractal nature of the universe and how it's actually living through multidimensional layers of realities and in all at the same time. And then it's being projected back into the chair as the person that he thinks he is. And he can see the difference between the limitlessness and the limited perception, and that's what I would suggest everyone to do, open your eye and start nourishing mentally in a way that it's actually upgrading your body of light to the next level, because there are actually light codes, or if you could see them, they are geometries in your mind body. There's the physical body, emotional body, the mind body. It has patterns or geometries that can be activated literally by the new information that you encompass. And it can expand with it, and it can create new shapes that is upgrading you as the being that you are. So being aware of how you nourish yourself mentally is a great step, again, in activating your body of light. So far there are questions I would love to hear, or what is the messages you've received from the universe also. And I will soon interrupt the transmission or finish the transmission of Facebook. So guys, the ones you want to be with us, Elena and the others, just tell yes in the comments. I'll include you. It's a donation-based participation and you can be with us. And if you have questions or comments, please, let's begin. I'm seeing some comments also online. I'm seeing everyone. Stefan and the others who are in the workshop online, you can use the comments area on YouTube to do it. The ones on Insta, you have already commented. And yes, okay, Elena Venetia. No, yeah, online. And so, yeah. Vreți ceva? Vreți să fac ceva? Sau trec la ce din online? In the meantime, da.
O întrebare, dar a dispărut.
A dispărut. Poate vine răspunsul imediat. I see someone asking about the retreat in Romania. I'll tell you about it. It starts, it's on the solstice of March, the spring solstice. And we will use the energy of new beginnings and everything is blooming. So we'll bloom our bodies into the new light codes and the new transmissions and detox on the 18th to 20th of March in a very special place in Romania. And we'll go to power places of Romania. We'll do 3 days of juice detox and detox also at the emotional and mental level. So that's what we're gonna do in March. I'm seeing someone saying brilliant insight that playfulness and vulnerability open certain energy pathways. Yes, try it more. Okay. So we're about to go to the end of the live streaming. Again, the link to this workshop, and I mean to the information of how you can participate, is in the comments. I joined late. In case you haven't, would you share your take on the ascension symptoms? Ascension symptoms, great question. Yeah, well, we're all going through ascension symptoms now. Everybody is experiencing the ascension symptoms as the flu. I might say the flu is an ascension symptom altogether. And it has been actually the flu from the beginning of time, even since 2012, when we were having the first ascension that we were aware of, because before that not many were speaking about ascension, but in 2012 everybody started speaking of ascension, and everybody was starting to say that if you're experiencing a little flu, a little cold, it means your light body is upgrading, right? It means your DNA is literally developing new strands that weren't active before, and so you're developing new strands of DNA, and all that stuff was being described when you need to sleep more, be more in silence, and be more in your own bubble, or feel that you even certain body pain that you weren't having before and that has no explanation. All that stuff can be categorized as ascension symptoms. Sometimes light comes in and it meets certain points in your body where some emotional energy or trauma is being blocked. in that area of your body, and you're starting to have a very powerful body pain that wouldn't let go for maybe days. That's an essential symptom. When you choose to go into that area of your body and talk to it or tune to it and see what it needs to tell you, you can actually see what needs to be released from there. And that's an essential symptom, because you're not actually ascending, you're descending your light into your body. And the body has to open up all its gateways and pathways and channels and everything so that it can embody that light. So it's a descension symptom. It's actually the symptom that your spirit and light is fully descending into your body, because now you're no longer ascending into the seventh heaven, you're descending all the heavenly aspect of you into your physical. And it's a time for embodiment, that is embodying your light fully. Yeah. So all the, sometimes even dizziness or feeling overwhelmed or excessively tired or etc., you know, all that can be a descension symptom, the symptom that your light is becoming more powerful, but your body is not fully trained to embody it. So you need to sleep more, you need to detox more, you need to take care of your emotional system more, and you need to take care of how you nourished your mental system, and you need to do more energy practice like yoga, qigong, do more movement, do more exercises like the ones we're doing tonight, of embodying more light, you know, meditation and so on, even sound healing. And tonight we have with us a beautiful sound healer called Zeda, and she's doing fantastic sound work, and we have to hope to have her at the Pranic Festival and in other retreats, because sound work is the thing now in terms of opening up energy channels. And clear food as well. Clear food, if you're still eating, we have people here that are cooking amazingly. You know, Elias is a beautiful, great vegan cook. And cooking your food, if you're still eating, with the feeling of awareness and with the feeling of being conscious of all the ingredients and all the energies that you put in and how you combine them, and you know, maybe respecting Ayurvedic principles, maybe taking care of the combinations and how they click into the body, what they activate into the body, all that stuff, you know, when you're still using food is important. And so to have the food cooked from a spirit of love and devotion and adoration, and with the intention of healing the ones that are eating it and all that stuff, is activating the light in you and the others who are consuming it. And so that's also important. Yes, you can find symptoms even on the internet if you look for them. Stefan, I've sent you the link to the workshop in your messenger. I hope you got it. Thank you for saying yes. Those of you who joined later, Krishna, you can join the full workshop. Glad that you two believe that focusing on conspiracy theories is not worthwhile way to go about. I have a definite, I lost the message. I'm having so many comments. I'm losing some of your stuff into it. Yes, no, we are not here to judge others and what they're fanatical about. It's not that the point, you know, even judgment is one of the things that is cluttering the energy system a lot. And you might want to be aware of judgment in general. Whatever you judge, let it go, because you don't know the true truth of it all. So you might want to skip that as well, and focus less on the separation and what divides you from other people, including their theories and what they choose to believe, and focus more on what unites you and what brings you together with the people and the beings around you. You might have very different opinions on the current situations or the health options or everything else, but you might have something in common, like maybe you all lost someone dear, or maybe you all had similar type of trouble in your life or similar type of pain and suffering, and you all lived on earth which makes it, you know, difficult for most of us. Or maybe you've all had pain and trauma, or maybe you've all had similar joys or similar preferences in certain ways of spending your time, and that's what you can focus on to open your heart to others and feel united with them instead of feeling divided. Because division now and judgment is the thing that can shut most of us down and shut our light off. Instead of shining your light into the world and bringing that kindness and compassion and goodness into your life and the life of others, you choose to shut it down and put a wall with these ideas of separation and division. So avoiding judgment, avoiding to focus on what separates you from another is a key to activate more light, and try to have compassion for their choices and opinions and health options and beliefs, because that's all they know and that's the best they can. That also is important. And that also is a key, you know, to open to more compassion, more kindness, and open your heart more. That's the only thing that matters, to open your heart more. And through your heart, new light codes are coming, and through your heart, new beauty is coming into the world, you know, like the Venus of today is showing us. And through your heart, you can heal yourself and the world. That's the key, no, and that's the key to bring in more light in yourself and to others. So with that, I'm completing the live. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining, and join with a yes if you want to be in our full workshop. We're having maybe another half of hour or so. Big hugs. And so we're here with us now and with the ones online. If there's, again, questions or things that you want to bring up or add, that would be the time. And then we can continue with the meditation.
How is activating the light body, let's say, linked to manifestation?
Oh, wow. Yeah, great. Because the body, the physical body, is the portal through which you manifest, but you can manifest more when you embody more light. So the more light you embody, the quicker you manifest, and the more responsibility you have for what you choose to manifest. You know, when you do more energy practice, you have more energy in you. Therefore, your manifestation will be quicker, and the universe doesn't choose what you manifest. You know, it gives you full spectrum, full spectrum. And some of the things might not be, you know, might be shocking for you because you're starting to manifest very, very quickly. And some of the things you are going to say, yeah, but I didn't want that. Yeah, but maybe you thought it at the speed of light somewhere behind your mind somewhere, and you weren't even aware that you're thinking it, and not being aware has brought it into your awareness through a direct manifestation. And so we need to, the more we embody our light, the more responsibility we have for the emotions and thoughts that we are cultivating, because they will create realities right away. For example, for people that aren't very quick in their light body, you think something now and it manifests after, I don't know, or you do something now that might not be right in terms of good and bad, and the effect of it, the bad result comes after some months or years, and you can't really figure out why does this happen to me, blah blah blah. But when you have the light body fully activated and operating at a high vibration, you do something now, the end result happens after 5 minutes. You're fully aware of the report of cause and effect, and you can course correct your actions and thoughts and emotions very quickly. That helps in a way, but in another way, it's also annoying because you get kicked right away. I have a thought that is not harmonious. The second thing is I drop and break something. I know the report of cause and effect. I can notice it right away because the frequency is really, 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 really quick. So that's a big responsibility. It becomes really a big responsibility. And for the people that, for example, are choosing to practice breath work or, chakra work or Kundalini awakening, which I don't recommend, by the way. The Kundalini energy should wake up naturally as the result of the purification of the channels and not as a result of forcing it. But that's another story. For the people who practice Tantra, either white, which is solo practice, or red with a partner, all this becomes very, very accelerated. And then they don't know what's happening and why is the energy moving so quickly and why are things accelerating so much and why is the life lived at such a rapid pace. So it's a big responsibility. Manifestation isn't only you manifest what you want and pray for. You manifest what you are and what you feel, and every bit of a thought becomes reality. And the physical body, as I was saying, has a great role in it, because it's the very portal through which you manifest. You've manifested yourself into the world through the physical body. Otherwise, we don't see you unless we're very good clairvoyant. So you've manifested here as a physical person, and everything you create into your world, it's being created through your physical body. The purer it is, the more accurate manifestation machinery it becomes. So many times I've noticed that, I was trying to do something or build something or create something, and it wasn't until I healed something or cleaned something in my body, like a colon cleanse, for example, or whatever, that thing eventually came into being. So very important to know that when something seems to be blocked in your life, you might need to unblock something or heal something in your physical vessel. And that's not to be neglected at all. You need to focus on that and get it done. Whatever it is, even a tooth that you weren't filling or repairing, maybe somebody needs to get their teeth done. Even that is essential for manifestation. I actually had manifestations or things resolved in my life when I resolved the filling in a tooth or liver cleanse or whatever. I've noticed so much work shifted in my life when I took care of a certain aspect in my physical body that allowed my light body to shine through that area that wasn't being healed or resolved or whatever it was there, because we all have certain things. So yeah, that's crucial. Is there something deeper that you want to ask about it, or is it that I answered?
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
But
so
basically, when regarding the last thing you said about when something feels blocked in our lives,
yeah,
it's almost always linked to a physical thing that we're not, let's say, fixing?
No, not necessarily. Your physical body might be doing great, but it might be something at the emotional level or something at and the most tricky is when it's at the mental level and you can't see it because you can't see your mind with your mind.
Mhm.
There has to be someone else that looks into it and sees a program that you've been running by default. That's what I'm doing in my job, as a therapist, as a deprogrammer. Deprogrammer, I call myself. So, I see the things that people are having so deeply ingrained in their lives and their thinking system and their operating mode or their subconscious, but even deeper than the subconscious, that they're not even noticing how they are playing that by default and that string up certain aspects of their lives. So you can't see it because it's what you consider to be part of you. But it's you as the person that you are. It's not you as the divine self. So when I look from the perspective of your soul or divine self, I see, well, that's just garbage over there. Get it away, get it out of from your house, and you will be able to embody what needs to be embodied. So it can be at the mental level, which is very subtle, very deep, very tricky. It can be at the emotional level, which can be more obvious because emotions, can feel. Most people can actually feel if they feel happy or crappy. You can tell the difference, so it's more obvious. And the most obvious is at the physical level where it actually hurts or, and that's the simplest way of resolving things. If it's already in the physical, it's easier to like course correct it. But it has to be corrected at the emotional and mental level because the physical will keep recreating it. Because the physical is just the representation of the energy system and how it's playing, basically. The manifestation is the incarnation, embodying of all of the energy matrix that you are, basically. Yeah, let me charge it. Doesn't go. So more questions if you have any, and we prepare for the meditation. Let's see, where can I plug this in? It doesn't have to be near me, but I need to plug it in somewhere. Ai eu fiz uma.
Da, trebuie să scoatem.
Scoate.
Sau să punem acolo.
Da, unde vreți, să se încarce un pic. Okay. Those of you watching online, if you have any questions, you can use the comments area and or also I can put a Zoom link and you can come on Zoom as well. Let's see how I do this. Okay. We take a moment to invite the people online in the Zoom. Okay. So that it's easier to ask questions and participate. Ai ceva întrebări? Tot înțelegi foarte simplu sau să mai traduc ceva?
E clar.
Okay.
Și teoria e așa de clară.
Știută, dar when we speak, even though it's things that you know and it's familiar, we also deblock something with the words, even if it's very, very well known. If it still needs to be said or spoken out, it means there's still something to click there. That is necessary.
It's like watering the soil in which you planted the seeds.
Yes. Yeah, something like
I
that.
like that. Like I can be paid for being me.
You can be everybody. I mean, nobody taught us that the best way to earn a living in the world is by being yourself. Nobody teaches that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. The cat is looking at you, right? Even the cat is. But the cat knows best because she is being herself and
Yeah.
living out of it. But you know, if you don't believe it, look at the animals in general. They get nourished and supported by the universe and by everything around them, by nature and everything, just for being themselves, just for being them.
Yeah.
And we are the only species on the planet actually that has come to the conclusion that we need to be or do something other than ourselves to be surviving. That's the biggest distortion on planet Earth. Like, who on earth invented that? You know. So we need to go back to our natural state, which is, you know, that we are supported for being us, and we need to do life from that perspective. If we want to, if we want to embody our life fully or life fully, because everything in life that you do from a place of being fake or not being the real you is actually cluttering or narrowing down your life, even in your work. You know. So I've started to I seem sometimes hard to manage or hard to relate to because I am aiming to be fully authentic in my work to a degree that so little people can comprehend. Like, I only do what I feel all the time. Like, somebody was suggesting maybe I can move this workshop tomorrow or in another day so that I can accommodate their space. And I said, I don't have another version of what needs to be manifested now. That's the only version that I have of this reality. And I have to follow it because this is the reality that needs to come. So I'm seeing this from a total different perspective than humans do things. And in general, I don't even get out of bed in the morning if I don't have a clear vision or direction into where do I step the next step. What do I move for? I don't just move my body because it needs to be moved out of bed and into another room or outside my house. I don't do things random. It has to come from a very authentic, clear place for me to move in another direction or put my attention from the inside to the outside or put energy into some or whatever, you know, that has to do with my energy, my time and my attention. It has to be really, really, really fully clear and guided. And I dare you to try to look at life that way and see how much energy can flow into your life and the life of others when you do so. And when you don't do things authentically and try to act them as you think you should, there's actually more blockage and clutter and lack of energy in your life. So the things that you think you gain, you actually lose. It's a paradox. You think you should do the right thing so that you gain certain things, but in fact you are losing things. You're losing time, energy, you're wasting life, basically. You're wasting life force. But that's what I feel to say. So yeah, so it's like that. And the universe pays you or supports you for being you because you are actually coming here as the divine and you're coming to be that. And whatever is less than that is less than you and you're getting less pay. yeah.
But sometimes we just play. It's not being so, everything so clear and having a direction. Sometimes I just like to play and just moving around and enjoying life, celebrating life actually.
Yeah, but
Not like I have a path and I have to follow it.
even that place, there's a
guide it, of course.
there's a difference between playing as the divine and playing yourself out of being the divine. You see? When you try to kid yourself that you're not the divine, which is something that's not true.
But, I mean, it's not like I wake up and I wait for the clarity to come. Where should I go? What should I do? It's
Mm.
something like, okay, let's enjoy the beautiful day. Let's see.
Ah, yeah, that's also like, yeah, it's going with the flow still. It's still, you're not seeing the whole day in advance, of course. You're just doing the first move and then you see what else. Or
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes.
you
it
or
feels like that.
you yeah, when I say I do the next step, I see where I'm called to. Sometimes I'm called to, this morning, for example, I woke up, I did a little stretching or a little meditation like that, and then the next thing I was called to was to watch a movie my father sent me 2 days ago. I had no idea why I had to watch that, but until I played it, my day didn't make sense. And I didn't even watch more than 15 minutes. I watched very little of it, but it needed to connect me with Paris, that had a certain connection to the France, to what's happening. It was a bigger picture anyway. But that was the first step in the day that made sense. And it didn't make sense to my mind because I had a workshop to organize, things to do, and was a lot of things that I should maybe have done before. And instead I was sitting there watching a movie that wasn't even appealing. I was like, what on earth is that? But it's like this. It's somewhere the energy has to flow. That has nothing to do with your mind, that you still have to do it. And you'll see later or somewhere along the day or along your life why you're doing it. It has no, it doesn't have to be a mental explanation. When I met this whole group, that I'm now joining more and more of you, it was like this. One morning, somebody has invited me to an ice bath, that Elena's going. And I said I will go. And then that morning, for some reason, I wasn't going out of the house. And the hour came and it passed. And then I knew that they are coming back. So they were meeting around 10. I wasn't there. And then 12 came, or 1 p.m. where they should have come back. So I got the guidance that even though I didn't go to the meeting, I should go to the meeting point when they come back and I should meet them. So I met them there at Decathlon when they come back. And everybody was in the parking lot talking to each other, and and I was talking to someone here, and two guys in the corner were saying, oh, we want to go to the city center. And while I was talking to that person, I went, I'll take you in the city center. It was spontaneous and it was clear that that's why I'm there. And I was coming to the city center. So I took them to the city center, and right away I was connected to the whole group of ecstatic dance, and then the whole group of, I don't know what, singing workshops, and all in this whole thing unraveled from just one decision. And that's how life is, actually. I don't do things with my mind. I don't know what I'm doing next. I don't know why I'm doing certain things. Normally, I don't necessarily like to take people in my car and so on, but it just flows like that. It just.
It requires quite some practice to do these, let's say,
Random things.
random things consciously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. because otherwise, as you said, the mind comes in and says, but wait, you have to do that and that because you
Yeah.
need to, even though maybe you feel like, yeah, maybe I should watch a movie this morning. Why not? Even
It
though,
bullshits you.
yeah.
Yeah, it bullshits you out of your true thing, you know. Another day I was called to do three things. One of them was to go to the ice bath, another was to meet some other friends to another workshop, and yet what I felt was to come here. Clearly, I excluded, you know, the other ones were like washed out of my day. So when I came, I instantly saw the space. I knew that I was going to collaborate with you guys. I and it unraveled to being here now, you know. I wouldn't have been here now if I didn't make those choices or exclude those other things and so on. That was more rational to go to the other gatherings that made more sense, where I knew more people, and instead I came here where I knew no one because I didn't know that it was you organizing. I just knew that it's a painting thing. So it's like this, you just go where your energy flows more, even though it makes no sense at all. And that's where divinity needs to manifest something, whatever it is. Yeah. And it takes, yeah, sometimes it takes balls. You might lose friends or relationships, or, you know, get fooled or whatever you think it might happen to you. But in fact, it doesn't. It's just you embodying your light and flowing it to the people that need to benefit from it, or you need to make an exchange there with them.
Natural selection, anyway.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it's very unnatural. You do the exact opposite of where you should be or do. And it feels crappy in the process. It feels like it doesn't go well. And you're trying to make it work. And especially when relationships or emotions or things like family bonds or deeper things are involved, you're trying, oh yeah, I should, everybody's shouldoologists, you know, they are shooting things in to their lives, trying to shoot them into being, you know, and it doesn't freaking work. Like, it doesn't work because it's obvious. And these days it's becoming more and more obvious that the shoots don't work anymore, you know, it's just not. And, you know, fortunately, I had the blind courage to drop everything out of my life in several layers. You know, once in 2011, where I dropped my job and my marriage, once in 2013, when I dropped my city and my company and my activity that I was doing back then, and I moved starting from scratch in another city, and then I moved here again, and I dropped everything that I had in Yash, and every day I drop something out. And it keeps dropping and dropping, because, you know, the more you expand, the less you actually, you know, the less bullshit you take actually in your life. It's just not working anymore. So the more I dropped the things and the people and the ideas and the concepts that were apparently keeping me safe, the safer I became, the stronger I became, the more flow I had in my life.
How do you deal with the suffering of the others? They expect things from you, and
Yes,
you cannot deliver what they expect.
I will tell you my experience. It might not be the same for all of you, because we all have different relations of cause and effect. But every time I did something that has upset someone, you know, for not meeting their expectation, not for being intentionally rude or, you know, deliberately mean for my benefit. I never did that. But, you know, there were partners in my life that, you know, not necessarily have agreed to my decisions or my lifestyle. There were friends that have been left behind. At some point, I have, for several years, neglected my, not neglected, but haven't been so much in contact with my family due to my traveling, due to my lifestyle, due to my long silent retreats. I maybe not answered the phone as much as they expected. I wasn't there as much as they wanted me to be. And for certain partners, I haven't necessarily been the wifey type style of, you know, spouse that they expect. So their expectations have slightly been blown away in the process most of the times. But eventually over the years, most of the people, because I've done it from a place of authenticity, and really that was my truth at that moment, and I've tried to communicate it as kind. I've always kept an area of kindness in my relationships, even though I was harsh enough to cut it all, but clear enough to maintain the kindness and good communication as much as possible. They felt my love, and that everything that I was doing from a place of love for myself, which matters, and for them in the process, because they needed to detach too. So over the years, eventually I received things for the bitchiest things that happened to them. So eventually it comes into balance, I believe. But in the short term, it might be hard.
But you gotta stick to the process.
I stuck to the process. I had the courage to somehow, and it wasn't easy. I've had harshness, aggressiveness, labels, and so on. It wasn't necessarily a breeze, but eventually it all came back to a thank you. So I am still doing so, because eventually I don't know what I need to do or be for another, but whatever comes is the best version for him, and he should take responsibility for that. I don't know, whatever. I mean, they must learn too. That's the thing. And I come in most people's lives, unfortunately, I've been a learning factor that has not always come easy for them. And I've taken responsibility for that without necessarily taking on a role. I try to be as mild as possible, but to some it's just the opposite of mild. And yeah, sometimes I felt guilty or unsure, but eventually it has been for the best of both parties. And even when I ended my marriage or certain relationships that I might have thought they were important or necessary to cling on, it's always important to transmute it into something higher, where more love can manifest. If it doesn't manifest as a relationship or as the current state of affairs, whatever it is, let's move it into a next level of energy. It can be a friendship, a collaboration. If it is a collaboration, let's move it into a healing interaction, whatever works, so that eventually love remains. That's all I'm interested in. When things get shitty, my focus is how can we share more love? That's all I'm interested in. And I've had the opposite too. I've had things where things didn't go my way, where they didn't go the way I would have wanted them to go. Partners leaving or acting in a way that I didn't approve of. Eventually, I came to say thank you as well. Surprisingly, yes, that happened. So always let things flow. And yes, people have their own expectations and you have your own, but that's all mind playing mind games. And eventually the soul always knows what's best. and to try to keep good communication is essential. Whatever happens, whatever you need to do, and the others, whatever they need or think they need, wherever, to try to communicate it in the most authentic, vulnerable, and open way. That has been, at least to me, the closest solution to sanity that I could find. And that's all I can tell you, for now. I'll see what else. Yeah.
Design?
No. I know
Do you
Richard.
What type you are?
I don't remember exactly. I might be a generator, but I'm not sure. I've known Richard. I've spoken to him. I like the approach. I think it's a very deep system. But in my life, I try to avoid all labels and boxes. So eventually, I didn't go deep into, astrology or numerology or just, yes, because all of them change when you deprogram yourself completely. You go beyond your birth date and birth sign and all the signs and things. You just go beyond. Yeah. Yeah.
But don't you think that these somehow help in this sort of 3D reality?
As long as you live in 3D, they might help. I don't live in 3D anymore. I don't have the perception of 3D as you see it. I think there's many Ds here. And I've Jinky, yeah. And in general, even Earth is above 3D now. Earth has evolved to 5D as we speak. And we are just catching up actually with our light bodies and our physical bodies, because the Earth's frequency has come to be higher than the frequency of the humans living on it. And we need to catch up to be able to stay on Earth. And that's what's happening now with most population. She as a spirit and her body as mass has evolved beyond the 3D. I mean, it's literally several layers of Earth possible existences that are playing out right now, which is no longer trapped into one existence. So we as species, we have the possibility to experience multidimensionality here on Earth. There's no longer the need to ascend. That's why I was saying that we're no longer ascending, but descending. There's no longer a need to ascend into some higher realm to experience certain levels of multidimensionality. We can experience that here with the physical body on a physical plane, but the physical plane is literally less denser than it was before. That's why the veils are thinner. That's why telepathy is stronger. That's why energy transmissions are more powerful. That's why sometimes you literally bilocate without I've happened to bilocate without even knowing that I was doing that. Bilocate, like literally be here and somewhere else at the same time. And it happened to me several times and I wasn't aware of it, but it's happening more and more to more and more people, because we're actually having multiple possibilities in one body. That's why I'm saying that 3D for me is old news. Because, yeah.
And you get to this state, let's say, by inviting or making space for light to come in.
Yes.
So
yeah.
basically, this is the way.
Yes. The more light you embody, the higher your frequency of the physical vessel is, the more possibility you have with it. Like there's been talks for ages of sages that were literally leaving their body, for example, at the entrance of a village to protect that village from tigers or whatever. And they were traveling in their other bodies that were, to different places of the world. Like literally you could talk to. And Arsenia Boca, who is one of our local saints, was doing that. They've imprisoned him for speaking of God in a time where you weren't allowed to do so. And he manifested his body at the funeral or some ceremony of his mother while he was in prison. So to this day, I mean, he left his body in 94 or so. We're not talking 5,000 years ago. So it's possible.
Very recent.
Yeah, it's very recent. So it's possible. Many of, I've had experiences of friends, you know, coming in through the walls in an apartment, or you know, I've had many experiences that show me clearly that we're no longer in 3D. But and the people that are nourished by light and don't need physical food, they are very clear example, and they also shape shift very easily, so they can literally change the shape of their body into another shape of a human or another shape in general. So yeah, no, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Dorothy, how was it, Dorothy? Something like that. Yeah, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. So yeah, what's your messages? Speak the truth. Oh wow, right on. Who else wants to say?
Oh, the message.
Yeah, the message.
This message.
Yeah.
Happiness is actually an art of living, which is in us.
Your true nature is trust.
Okay. So write them down somewhere, and then we put it back in. But just remember that this was today's message, you know, and it's. I don't know if you resonate with them, or they tell you something that.
Everything.
Yes, but in general, they are spelled to be the right message for the right person. Spelled, not spelled, but meant, I mean. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a brief meditation, or not so brief, we'll see. And then we see if there's anything or we need to close, because we stayed longer than estimated, but it generally happens that way. We don't live in time so much. So we focus on our heart. We visualize, sense, or feel that we have a light column from the center of the universe to the center of the earth, all the way around us. All the way around us, from the center of the universe to the center of the earth, we're in this light column. In the most appropriate energy, the most appropriate color for each one of us, each one in his light column, in his column of light. And we feel, sense, or imagine how this column is as wide as our hand stretched out, and it's surrounding us completely, front to back, left to right, from above and beyond, the most appropriate light for each one of us. Every time we inhale the light from this column into our bodies. We let it through all our pores. We let it in through all our physical systems. We let it sink in. And when you exhale out all the worries, tensions, concerns, everything that doesn't serve you, everything that's not beneficial for you, everything that's not for your highest good. We just exhale it out in this column of light, and we know that this column of light is pre-programmed to dissolve, transmute, transform all that is not for our highest good. Another deep breath in, we allow this light through all our pores, into our tissues, into our organs, all the way to our bone marrow, all the way deep into our system. Knowing that this has the best frequency for our healing, for our upgrade, for our light to be empowered. And with the exhale, we consciously release, let go of all that we're ready to let go right now, all that we're ready to release. Even the physical illnesses or ailments or misalignments, we can let them go in this column of light. Knowing that this column of light is pre-programmed to dissolve, transmute, transform all that doesn't serve us. We can even visualize or imagine or sense the things that we release, knowing that they're just dissolving gently into this column of light around us. And we actually feel our bodies more peaceful and lighter and more relaxed as we do this breath. We can now focus on an intention that we would love to manifest, or a thing that we would love to heal. In this meditation, and we place that intention in the center of our heart. With all the love and all the trust and all the relaxation, knowing that the universe takes care of it now. It can be a personal intention or a global one or both. And we see that we have a connection cable from the center of the universe to the center of our hearts, coming down through the top of our head, opening our crown, coming into the center of our head, through the pituitary and pineal glands in the center of our head. And from the pineal gland, it goes all the way in repairing and upgrading our DNA. So we can see our DNA or visualize it or imagine it being reinforced, empowered, energized now from the center of our pineal gland all the way down. As the pineal is the control tower of the DNA structure. So this light is flowing again in the center of our head, the center of our pineal gland, activating this gland, which is one of the master glands of our endocrine system. And we see our DNA with its strands of light being empowered right now. And we let this light also flow to the throat. And into the heart. And we literally can see our heart like a sun shining powerfully in the center of our chest as it connects to the heart of the central sun through this connection cable. So from the heart of the central sun, with every inhale, with every breath, we receive more energy into the sun of our heart. And this is then with the exhale emanating out its light into our cells, into our organs, into all our energy channels, activating our energy channels, into all our physical systems, all our organs, all our chakras, all our endocrine glands, radiating out from the center of our heart all the way into our physical body. Then into our auric field, and out into the universe, radiating out this blueprint, the signature of our hearts, combined with the heart of the central sun, all the way in us and around us. With every inhale, our heart chakra grows bigger, brighter, more powerful, like a ball of light or sun of light in the center of our chest, activating fully the new love codes, the new sacred dance from above and beyond, the masculine, feminine energies blended together in the center of our being. And with the exhale, this whole thing radiates into our cells, activating our cells, our mitochondria. The memory of the higher light codes that we are bearing in our system. the memory of a greater way of functioning for our physical body, maybe a better way of nourishing ourselves. We ask that our body be nourished from physical food or prana or both, the best way possible for us now. Whatever works best, if you agree. We'll let this coding go into our cells, into our organs, into our muscles, into our bones, into our nadis, into our chakras, into our endocrine glands, nervous system, circulatory system, muscle, bones, skin, auric field, and out into the universe from the center of our hearts. We let it flow to our lower chakras as well, through the feet and perineum, all the way down through the knees, all the way down through the calves, all the way down through the soles of the feet, down towards the center of the earth, going towards the center of the earth, going through our roots. And we see our roots, if they're strong and healthy, and we check them out so that they are good and nice and healthy. And if they aren't, we send some rush of energy to them from the center of our hearts so that they grow stronger. And we let them to the center of the earth. And we let them touch the heart of Gaia, and we notice the heart of Gaia is also a sun. So we can connect to the sun in the heart of Gaia, and the whole three suns are aligned. The heart of the central sun, the heart of our heart sun, is aligning with the sun of the heart of Gaia. And we connect and allow Gaia to send her love up through our roots, up into our body, from her sun to ours, up through the soles of the feet, through the ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, all the way up to the base of the spine. The synergy of Gaia comes up like a golden blanket into our bodies, activating our root and perineum, coming up to the base of the spine, coming up through the spine into the heart. And we now are connected from above and beyond and below. Mixing these two energies into our heart, the masculine from the center of the universe and the feminine from the center of the earth. Blending them together in the perfect dance. And then they're coming up to the top of our head. This energy of Gaia filling our whole body to the top of the head. Healing, aligning any yin deficiency, anything that needs to heal with the feminine energy. And all the way to the top of the head, springing out through the top of the head, all the way around our body and our auric field in a bubble of light, in a sphere of light. With the synergy of the biomagnetic field of Earth, supporting our system, supporting our wish, supporting our intention, supporting our life force, supporting our life plans, supporting our being alive with the elements of our body being activated, supporting us here on earth. And with this full support, where we feel truly held and truly nourished, we come back now into our hearts. And for a moment, we hold our intention and our presence there and feel how it feels to see our wish come true, how it feels to feel if we already have it, or do it, or be it. How it feels to have that in our lives or breathe that in our lives. What's the feeling, the smell, the taste, the feel of it, the emotion of it, how it feels to have that. And what's the emotion of it? How it feels to have the courage to have that in your life in case you have any fear about it. How it feels to have the courage to allow that in your life. What would it take to allow that in your life with courage? Whatever it is. And how it feels to release whatever it would be blocking you from having that in your life. How it feels, what would it take to release whatever is blocking you from having that in your life. With joy and His embrace. And we slowly, as we figured that out, we slowly come back in our bodies. Send the ray of light to each other, giving thanks for everyone's participation in this play. Sending a ray of love to all the participants in this workshop and all the ones that are yet to come. With gratitude, with love for our support. For our pure intentions. For the purity of our souls. And we come back and check our presence in the soles of the feet and the toes. We wiggle the toes to make sure we're present in our feet. We check our presence as the body of light is fully present in the soles of the feet, calves, knees, thighs, hips. Fully present in the abdomen, upper back, arms, neck, head to the top of the head. We're fully present here now. And let's do a final thing. As we're present with our light body in our physical body, we imagine now that we have a zipper coming from the top of the head down to the front of the body. And we take our physical hand, or imagine that we unzip this from the top of the head, starting to unzip down through the front of the face. Start to unzip your physical suit. And then zip it down, maybe to the neck, and then to the heart. And see how your physical suit is maybe falling like a clothing off your body of light, and your body of light is shining in full splendor. Check out its color, maybe its shape, its brightness. And you can zip it even further to the belly button, maybe. Letting your suit of flesh release this body of light. Then unzip it to the perineum and down to the feet. Letting your light body outshine brighter and brighter. And you can imagine that you take your suit of flesh on your lap, in the lap of your body of light. And you hold it in your lap and see, maybe as you go with your hand of light, you go over it, you feel the areas that need a bit of energizing or a need of healing or repatterning even. In your physical body. Maybe your head or neck needs energized, or there's some certain areas in your abdomen or ovaries or reproductive system or perineum or feet or knees that need a bit of healing, a need of repatterning or re-energizing a little bit more. And as you go with your hand over it, you can send healing energies to those areas of your body of flesh. Healing, upgrading, repatterning your body of light, the body of physical. Remember to also look at the back side of your physical body, the back area of it, like turning a shirt on both sides. And see if there's areas that call your attention or your energy, and with the palms of your light body hands, just send energy to those areas too. So that you heal them fully. And you can do it for as long as you need. Or even request that this process can continue through your sleeping at night. As when you're sleeping at night, you can unzip and heal your physical body more even. And feel how good it feels to be able to energize your physical suit consciously by sending light to it from your light body. As the light being that you are, fully aware that you're having a human suit that you're temporarily wearing. And whenever you feel ready, you can re-wear your physical body, putting your body, your feet of light into the feet of flesh of your physical suit. As if you're taking your sweatpants on. And start to zip from the toes through to the ankles. Start to zip back your physical suit along your calves, making sure it's well arranged around your feet of light. Taking like stockings on. And then zip it up to the knees, zip it up to the thighs, fully inhabiting your physical suit with your body of light. Zip it up to the hips, and the zipper goes to the perineum, and from there you're clothing your hips, abdomen and lower back with your suit of flesh, zipping it up through the front part of the body all the way up to the heart. Start to put your light hands into your physical hand suit. See how it feels, and zip it up to the neck so that it comes all the way up around your shoulders, the neck, and then zip up, put up your physical head around your head of light and zip it up to the nose and forehead and to the back to the top of the head. Zip it all the way up and you're back in to your physical body. So welcome back. We start wiggling the toes, checking your presence, checking that everything is well arranged. Your physical costume, well suited, well arranged to your body of light, so that your body of light can easily shine through it. Then whenever you're ready, we come back into the heart, the center of our being, and back into the room. So make sure the zipper is all the way up so that it doesn't fall back on in the middle of your day. That's it. The cat is giving us the tour. She finished with me now. She's bathroom. How does it feel? How is your physical body feeling?
Updated.
Unzipped. It's a nice exercise to do when you're feeling too caught in the physical. material game or when something needs to heal in your body.
Oh,
And also to upgrade your cells or if you're consistent.
yes, and it feels like it would move a bit.
Yeah, after that you can do a yoga session or some qigong or some dancing just to rearrange it back in. Or you can just get up and shake it.
Yeah.
Even now, if you need to, yeah, whatever you need. Yeah, we're pretty much done. No? If you have any questions or anything you want to share.
Amazing meditation.
Good?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
very
Yeah. The DNA thing was a surprise. I got it this morning. I did it on myself and then I perceived that I have to do it with the group tonight, the upgrade of the DNA. And I requested that I'm reminded so that I don't forget to do it. But this unzipping thing, I wasn't expecting it. It took me by surprise. Yeah, it's good for when you need to heal stuff. Or just upgrade. Yeah, I'm really curious in the next few days how you will feel this upgrade.
Me too.
When's the next thing that you're doing here?
Sunday,
Ah, what do you do?
Saturday, we are going to dance.
Ah,
On Sunday, we are going to integrate the dance with a walk through the forest, and then some drumming, and then some snacks.
snacks. So you're doing the snacks.
Yeah.
So send the info so that we
We
know
will.
Saturday you're doing something and then Sunday.
Saturday is ecstatic dance, actually.
Oh, good. I
And
was
a new
needing
place
it.
with a new team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm happy to join
Yes.
newness.
Great.
Newness.
Newness.
Very new.
Yeah, it's
And
very good.
the snacks too. I missed it last time. He did great food on Saturday or Sunday, but I wasn't feeling to eat at all. And maybe this time I will be allowed because I'm curious. I just want to taste some stuff. However, can't eat all these things. He did like 4, 5, 6, I don't know how many courses, but at least some
Have a taste. Yeah,
of everything.
everything.
Mm.
So thanks everyone for watching and see you next time. I'm planning the next one on the 22nd. You are free here on 22nd? Yeah.
Yes.
Tuesday. On Tuesday, yes. And normally I do Wednesday, but 22nd is like 22nd of 2 to 2 to 2 to 2, all the 2. It's a great portal.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be 22nd.
Okay.
Anyone want some water?
I'm good, I'm okay.
We've been speaking about this 22nd. We wanted to go somewhere, but then we didn't feel into it anymore. So then we thought of maybe organizing something.
Yeah.
Then we didn't feel that.
Yeah. I was needing some space to perform some